Good morning, all saints. Welcome to this Thursday morning. It is the Feast of the Ascension, one of the major feast days in the church year when Jesus ascends into heaven. And for the next 10 days, the disciples are awaiting that gift of the Holy Spirit that is promised. There'll be more about that later at noon. We will be live streaming a liturgy from the church. You can find the information in an e-blast that went out, as well as in on the Facebook page. And it's the same link that we use for our Sunday liturgies for Zoom. But this morning, rather than thinking about Ascension, I've actually been spending some time this week attending via live stream the Festival of Homiletics this year. It was supposed to be in Atlanta. It's not a time of year I can generally get away, so I was actually delighted to be able to participate for free, watching various preachers and teachers and people that I admire and respect. And it's been quite extraordinary, the bits of it I've been able to watch. And the theme this year is about creation care. And a lot of the messages have been really on point about our responsibility to care for this planet. It was given into our care at creation. But some have pointed out that creation care and watching the planet heal during this time of pandemic, which I'm sure you've seen the pictures of Delhi and LA and Hong Kong and Shanghai, where the air is clear, which is great and it's beautiful and as it should be. And yet, this pandemic, this shutdown of industry actually harms those whose livelihoods rely on that. So, and I'm not talking about those that are the owners. I'm talking about those who earn barely enough to survive, working in factories and doing service jobs and all of those. We know the racial implications of this pandemic, that those who can least afford it are the ones who they have to continue to work. They put themselves at risk. And when they do get sick, it tends to lead to a higher death rate. So yes, healing this planet will certainly help those on the margins. I mean, we have the cyclone that has hit Bangladesh and India, and those kinds of weather events are actually climate driven, and it most impacts the poor and those, again, who can least withstand such things. Now, I don't have the answer to any of this, but what I do know is that as Christians, we are called to lift up the lowly, as Mary says in her Magnificat. We need to make sure that we are always addressing the structural and systemic issues that keep people on those margins and in poverty, so that when disaster hits, they are not the ones who suffer the most. So that's what I'm thinking about this morning. And I think it actually is something that needs to be on the forefront of our minds at all times, because how do we truly love our neighbor? How do we love the least of these, as Jesus says in Matthew 25? How do we make sure that those most in need are being cared for, and not just being given things, but actually to have their lives transformed, because we have worked in collaboration with God to make this world a better place for everybody. I wish you all the best this day. I hope to see you later today at noon via Facebook Live or Zoom, and many blessings on this day of Ascension.